What did you think?
Obsessed. I want to keep reading.
I
I can't
know.
wait to finish it.
I think I'm gonna finish it tonight.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
finish it soon.
I was a little sad that we were kind of right, though.
Yeah.
I wish like such bad things like wouldn't happen, but it's kind of like good to see that they do, because sometimes like it's like a mirror of reality and what people really do go through, you know. So just like, I don't know, I felt really bad for her, but I think it's, in a way, it's just like a reminder to like believe people like when they say things are happening to them and that kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's just really sad. I didn't know she was gonna get pregnant or married so fast, though. I swear I got Frozen vibes when they were going to Vegas. I'm like, what does Elsa say?
I
Marry someone you
know.
just met. After that, I was like I feel like it's gonna go downhill from here.
They brought up the whole marriage, and I was like, God, here we go. It's been like a thing in our books recently where it's like married real quick or having a kid real quick.
Women are in love, man.
But I don't know. It's just sad that now she is pregnant, and now she kind of has.
She's just repeating her mom's cycle.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking the whole like, not saying that whatever your parents went through, it's gonna happen to you, but it's more common that it does, and it's kind of sad for her because she's trying not to do this, and yet here she is in the same pattern.
But there's also an opportunity for her to break, well, I'm quoting the title of the book, but like she has a chance to end the cycle of abuse that her mom experienced and that now she's experiencing. And obviously it's a lot harder once you have a child because the dad will still be involved in some way, but she can choose to do what her mom did not have the ability or the courage or the, to do, which is actually extricate your child from that and start new. So it's really sad that she's in that situation, but maybe like with the help of Atlas and, because she seems to be like a pretty strong person.
Yeah.
Hopefully she can, not get stuck in the same cycle that her mom did. And I hope her and her mom have a conversation too, because I think that'll be pretty interesting to hear them talk about everything.
To see what the mom will say, because one, she's been through it, and obviously now that the dad can't do anything because he's not there, like, will she be honest and say like, I wanted to, but I couldn't? Like, if she just says no, stay, then it's, like, I want to hear the part. Yeah. Let's see.
It was interesting. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Julie.
Oh, do you think she'll for sure leave him, or I don't know?
I really hope so.
I hope so.
But even she said, she's like comparing to how, like, she like now understands why her mom didn't left, because she had one out of two choices. Either like for her, just like she either has a dad but like grows up in an abusive home, or with broken parents. Like she's like, now she's realizing I have one of two options.
And we don't know what the mom's like experience was growing up too, right? Maybe this has been happening for further generations back, and maybe that's why she also found it more difficult to leave her husband. Like maybe the mom was told when she was younger, when she was just married, like, oh yeah, you should stay with him because he'll be able to provide or something like that. Maybe that's why she couldn't leave as well, because she didn't feel supportive. So then I wonder, like, if she finds out about Lily and Ryle's situation, like, what route of advice she will take. Will she be like, no, yeah, leave him, I can help you? Or, oh, well, he's a neurosurgeon, he'll be able to provide, like, look at this fancy house. It's just interesting.
That's true. I think they did mention that. I think the mom also stayed because the dad had money, right? Or he had like some sort of title.
Yeah, I think he was the mayor of the town they lived
in. Yeah, when I read that, I was like, God, I'm sure to the whole world he seems like a great guy. and they don't know the truth that's
Mhm.
happening behind closed doors, which I mean, it's common and it does happen, but I'm just like, ugh, the people who they're like, oh my God, he's so great. No, he's not.
Yeah.
And that's like even more of a reason why the mom was like maybe afraid to leave, because the whole town like wouldn't believe it, or like supports, everyone seemingly supports the dad, so she feels like she doesn't have a support system or people that would take her side.
Yeah. And then if she were to like press charges, I feel like everything would have become so public because he was the mayor. And if it made like big news, then every time she saw something like that, she would just be like reliving the trauma as well. So maybe it was easier for her to just mask it in a way and deal with it when it happened than go that route. Oh my gosh.
And how she never wanted them to call 911
Mm-hmm.
because, yeah, maybe the whole town would have known. It would have been a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting how what's her name? The daughter.
Lily?
Yeah, Lily, how like she's so afraid of him coming over. And I feel like if he finds her, I feel like he's not gonna attack her again. He'd be like in the apologizing stage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, is she afraid he's gonna be jealous that she's with Atlas and attack her, or is she more afraid he's gonna like say sorry and she'll go back with him? I don't know.
Might be the latter. Like maybe she's afraid that she's gonna start excusing it again. But then maybe she's also afraid, like, because of the whole thing that happened with Atlas and him, like they almost got into that fight. Like maybe she's worried. And with how he reacted, with how the entire thing started, was over like him reading that thing and like just completely, going crazy over it.
But I feel like that reaction was because he was already like, I was talking to my friend about like, if you look into your partner's phone and stuff like that, that's where you already fucked up, you already were not trusting him. And by going on the phone, whether you find something or not, you already started that like, not even pattern, but that cycle of like, you're just gonna be like constantly looking for more. So I feel like that's what he did. He messed up by going into her journals, and then from there on he just kept seeing obviously everything because it was in her journals. And I don't know, because I don't think he would have overreacted if it wasn't for the journal. So he already messed up, which I'm like, and then I keep thinking like, by her keeping those journals, keeping the magnet, keep like obviously like all these little things that he was overreacting with, do you think she should have kept the stuff? I know it's not her fault, but do you guys feel like at some point you're like, you shouldn't have kept that, or get rid of it,
I
That's
don't
her
think
first
so,
wife.
because she never had any intention of cheating. She didn't go looking
Mm-hmm.
for Atlas. This was something that meant a lot to her. And you can have multiple loves of your life throughout your life, and it doesn't make it any less valid. It doesn't mean that she's not with Ryle and that's not her priority.
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of unresolved issues there, and that's going to probably tie into the next part of the story. But, I don't think that you necessarily, I don't know, like, I don't think she did anything wrong. I think she just still felt connected to that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not, like, the thing that actually really bothers me, and maybe it's just me, but like about like Ryle's whole thing about naked truth.
Yeah.
I don't think you necessarily need to share everything all the time. Like, I don't know, you're allowed to have your own private life, and she didn't, I don't know. I think she clearly still has feelings for Atlas, but she wasn't actually doing anything actively to pursue that. And are you just supposed to like stop your feelings? I don't know. Like it just seems, aren't you allowed to have certain things to yourself if you're not doing anything wrong? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's like a little white lie, like a white lie she said to so he wouldn't get upset.
Mhm.
Not that she was covering that she's doing shady things, just so he wouldn't freak out.
I feel like part of that is also that I don't think they've had a conversation of, besides like in the beginning where she was like, yeah, he was homeless and he was my first or whatever and all that stuff, right? But did they ever actually have a conversation after that saying like before he started freaking out about it, you know? Because I feel like if they hadn't, I think this is why he's like, oh my gosh, you're trying to go back with him. The phone number, the magnet, the you in the restroom with him, you know, like it was just all these little things that appeared wrong, but they weren't. And
I
I don't
think all that was said was like she briefly said something like we both had abusive
Yeah.
like households and we helped each other, but she didn't fully explain everything because like he didn't ask either.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing too, where I don't feel like, and I think you mentioned it, Paula, last time that you were like, he could have apologized this way. And I was like, well, you know, some people aren't as mature. But then there was a line where I think Atlas came and he apologized for calling Lily like sounding like your mom. And then that's when I remembered I was telling you, I was like, well, some people are mature, some people are not. And I was like, the people who are mature, that's like super like fantasy and it's rare. And then he pops up saying that. I was like, damn it, you know what? Okay, yeah, you are immature, Ryle, get out kind of thing. But I don't know, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
I think that Rail's just, he needs a lot of help. I like that it mentioned that he was going to therapy, but he needs like way more therapy than he's probably getting. And if it's getting to the point where he's hurting somebody, you know, then that needs to like just be stopped immediately, because nobody should be on the receiving end of that, no matter like what. But what's making me nervous is that, at least in like the movies that I've seen that kind of go this route, it's like Ryle is also kind of, you know, well off and affluent and a very credible person. So if things, you know, start getting nasty, like legal wise as well between them, you know, if she's not really careful and the baby's born, like what if he snatches custody, or, you know, what if he just like ruins her business and her livelihood, you know, things like that is kind of what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I'm probably looking more at the future, but I'm wondering like how it's going to pan out, like what role Atlas is going to play. I really hope they end up together, because clearly, you know, they still have feelings for each other, especially with the name of the restaurant. I felt like that was really like sweet, because they both helped each other during very difficult times in their like teenager or young adult lives. But I definitely think Ryle invaded her privacy, and he's just like every time he assumes something, like things are going very terribly awry. And instead, like he should ask, like, can you tell me more? And it's fair that, you know, he might be concerned, but he shouldn't be going through her stuff and making wild assumptions and then pretending that he didn't know. Like when he was holding the magnet at the fridge, that was very toxic and sinister to me. I'm just like, oh no, like, you know, but you're not telling her. So it's just awkward. And I feel like Lily's just trying so hard to give him a chance because she is a good, strong person, but she needs to recognize, even though it's not the same situation as her mom and dad, it's just like still a situation that needs to be addressed and, you know, cut out of her life, hopefully immediately. I don't know.
Yeah. As much as I want her to be with Ryle, after he kept doing it, and I mean, I like that we got and we hit the spots that they were like, oh, he killed the brother, and it's like, oh shoot, there you go, you know, that's his trauma. But at the same time, it's like, it's not okay. It's gonna keep going on. The cycle's gonna continue, and as much as she loves him, she needs to get out, because I don't know. And I think there was another one where I was like, I didn't like when Atlas was, I know he was trying to be caring for her and be like leave him. But for me, it seemed more like he was pushy and be like, leave him, I'll swoop in, I'll be with you. So I prefer her to be by herself than with Atlas or Ryle.
Yeah,
Because
I think Atlas did mess up on the restaurant scene too, where he went back and he started trying to beat up Ryle, and it's like his establishment, like people don't think it through because their emotions get too carried away, but like Ryle could have sued him, he could lose his business, and then who knows like what repercussion that would have for Lily too, because it kind of did seem like, if I was Ryle, I guess I could, like, you know, if he was coming out of the bathroom with Lily, like that is like I guess a somewhat concerning visual, but I feel like they both made assumptions there, you know, that were incorrect, and then things just went really badly after. I forgot what I was going to say after that. There's something about Atlas, but it'll come to me.
I think something that might be really playing into Ryle's issues that probably also needs to be addressed is like how obsessed he is with like being the #1 surgeon or whatever, and how much time he puts into that and like pressure he puts on himself for that, because I'm sure that causes a ton of stress. And if he doesn't know how to manage that stress, and if he's putting himself in these situations and he has all of this anger issue and these urges that he's not able to control, and he's like, I don't, you know, like, what did he say? Like, I'm not myself, I snap out and I don't realize, like, but you're also putting yourself under enormous amounts of stress. And like, he has these goals, but maybe he needs to also understand that maybe he has these goals, but he's going about it in a way that's not helpful for him in his relationships. So I wonder if they'll address that as well. But I mean, he's going to London to go and do that some more. So, you know, to do that fellowship, or I think that's what it was. Or,
Something like that. Some extra
yeah.
special program.
Do you think Ryle was resentful towards Lily for wanting to stay in Boston and he wanted to go to the Mayo place?
I feel like he said no, but maybe later on he'll come back. And then he'll be like, well, I didn't even want to go. Like, I didn't want to stay in Boston. I wanted to leave and blah, blah, blah. You know, all that stuff. I don't think right now it's an issue, right? I think he's still like, I love you and it's compromise. But I think he'll bring it up if there's another fight. And then.
Yeah. I was wondering if that's why he bought the apartment so quickly after deciding that. He was like, well, then we're going to stay like where I want to stay, kind of. And that's why he bought it without like taking her, you know, because I do feel like picking a home is very meaningful for a couple. But I think that once he found out about like the BIB, then maybe he'll get like more angsty towards, oh, this is why you wanted to stay in Boston, you know, and I don't know, if they do stay together, what if they move away, you know, and then she won't be as close to like Atlas, because in a way he is being a protector for her right now, and she won't be close to her mom either if they end up moving away.
And she said that she didn't go to Boston because of that, right? I remember
didn't she say like she also wanted to see if Boston was like all the hype, lived up to all the hype or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think it was to escape like her hometown and just like her dad's like vibe, because he was the mayor there. Yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like it makes sense that, because I kept believing, I was like, oh my gosh, she's doing it because of Atlas and all that stuff. But it's also like Atlas was a big portion of her like growing up stage, and she kept hearing about Boston. Obviously she's gonna want to see it. And obviously in Ryle's eyes, it seems like everything was for him, but it's for Atlas. But it's not. I don't know.
It's funny to me that it's all about Boston, because I don't know, have you guys been there? I went there and it was fine. Like,
you're like, it's not that great. What's so great about this?
Yeah, like it was all right, but yeah. I don't know, but I was only there like 2 days, so.
That's funny.
I mean, there's a lot of history there, I think, but I've never been there either. I want to go one day, but that's all I like feel like I've heard it as, you know, like, oh, there's all these historical buildings, or this is where this happened. But maybe compared to like what was around her, that's like the most happening place, like, you know, SF or something like that, to people who live around here. It's like more diverse, more culture, more everything.
The food's good, all the lobster rolls.
Oh.
Well, isn't she from Maine? Am I wrong?
I think she said she was from something.
So she's got really good lobster rolls there. It's just obviously terrible people, but probably get better lobster rolls in Maine, right? I don't know.
I read this line again in the book that says, I don't push things with Ryle when it comes to speeding things up in our relationship, but he definitely was like the one putting the speed on it, I think. So that's just interesting. I feel like, do you think that it's kind of like keep up with the Kardashians in terms of keeping up with a brother and sister, you know, like, oh, okay, they have this nice apartment, now they have a baby, now we need a nice apartment, now we need a baby. But you know, I wonder if part of him feels like he's just not good enough and he's trying to keep up with his sister's life, maybe. Like maybe there's more sibling angst there than what we know of right now.
Mm.
I wonder if
Yeah, that
he was just so carried away because it's like his first time really being serious with someone and like really being in love. So he's like, it's like he's like high on it. He's just like, yeah,
Which
let's get married. Let's get an apartment. let's
my
let's
gosh,
have
yeah.
a kid.
That's crazy.
I
but do you
remember
notice like all the incidents are when he's drinking? Like
Oh.
maybe if he would just give up drinking completely.
oh, that's right, because they were like, we're not gonna drink wine.
Oh yeah, like we're never drinking
Because
this
if
specific kind of wine again.
yeah, and then this time it was the scotch and
Yeah, 'cause
Mhm.
after his long day, oh my God, he has a drinking problem.
But that was true with her dad as well, right? I think that was mentioned. So maybe there are more similarities than like she's wanting to admit here, even though I mean they're different problems, but I can't help but remember that.
There was a line that she said that she's like, but if I'm emulating my mother's behavior, then that would mean Raul's emulating my father's behavior. I just kidded because I put little sticky notes this time. I finally got my book. So I was like,
Oh, let me see. Oh, I like it.
so
I love
like,
annotation.
turn pages to what was interesting, and I was like, why did I turn here? And it was because she's doing the mother's behavior and he's doing the father's, and not. I don't know if it's necessarily Ryle's dad, but it's like the same story as her parents, which is sad because I totally missed the whole drinking part. Damn.
And then I know that when he finds the little paper on the phone, he says it was an accident, but now I'm thinking, was it really an accident? You know, I think maybe was he trying to look through her stuff and be like, let me see, especially because they already had that run-in with Atlas. I feel like now thinking about it again, I feel like it was purposeful because then maybe that's what's made him start looking through her stuff. Like, oh, maybe there's more. I don't know, even though he still shouldn't be doing that. But
I think he was looking at her phone to begin with, and it just happened to fall that the case fell off. So he was already looking through her shit before then. He just wasn't finding anything.
See, that's where you already went wrong. When you're already thinking about it and you're actually doing it, like that one looking into the phone or looking for something instead of trying to talk to your partner. And I know people can lie and have little white lies, but I don't know. They do have the whole naked truth thing. And even though it seems a little too intense, I think part of it is okay. Like when they were like, okay, tell me the truth kind of thing. But I don't know.
I think it's a lot of pressure. You're just like, naked truth, tell me everything. And it's
Especially
like,
because
maybe someone needs to think about it, or maybe it's not, you need to have like a less intense conversation. And it's also like very pushy. It's like, you have to tell me everything now. And if someone it's not like things are complicated and she's not hiding anything. She's just maybe she's also worried about making you upset because you have a history of having anger issues, and it's also like putting all this pressure where like if you don't say everything then you're hiding something, and that's like not exactly that's not a good dynamic to have.
It's more interrogation rather than conversation, I think, and definitely like not respecting her boundaries in terms of like maybe she's not ready to talk about it. And like for the journal, she's still processing everything again as an adult now with another relationship. So it takes time to be able to build that comfort and share things like little by little. And they got married so quickly that I don't think that they've had that time, you know, and especially like you said, Paola, with the things that have happened, I don't think she'll feel that comfort ever again because it might become an issue later. Was anyone creeped out by how like he's beating her up, but then he's also a doctor, so he can patch her up just as quickly? I was kind of like sickened by that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. When she fell down the stairs, like, and I was like, fell? You pushed her. Like, ah. And then he's over here putting her on the bed, like, oh no, you need this, you need that. And I was like, well,
yeah.
of course you'd be the one trying to help her now.
Because the first time he was like over apologetic. The second time, page 230, he said like hands are gentle, steady, voice is soothing. But then I think the third time, his voice like is just like very clinical. Like he doesn't really, he's not being as loving. And I'm just wondering if he's detaching himself or if he's also not liking her as much now that he's finding out this information and he's, you know, making all these assumptions. That's just kind of creepy.
Does anyone else see any parallels to like Annie Wilkes, where she would hurt him and then try to? I know it's not the same thing at all, but
Yeah.
it just made me think about that for a minute. I don't know.
Yeah, I see
But,
what you're
like-
saying.
Like they think that like he thinks that he's taking care of her, but he put her in that situation to begin with, and it's not caring
Yeah.
what he did.
Yeah. Oh.
I see a
I just
parallel
think
also
it's
with
on a
like,
different level. Thinking of Annie and Ryle. Ooh, that's creepy.
I
Gross.
It's not the
who is
same
worse?
thing, but-
Never mind. I don't want them together ever again.
No, yeah.
What if she just says that the baby's is Atlas's baby? It stays with him.
Oh, I was like, they never did it though, but you're right.
I wonder if his behavior will change, if Ryle's behavior will change once he knows like that there's a baby in there, or like will he wait till the baby's born and then it's gonna like the abuse will begin again, or will he abuse her while she's pregnant, which he already technically did, even though they didn't know. Like that's terrible.
I feel like he can totally be happy about it and try and be like for the pregnancy and maybe when the baby's born, but he needs help, and if he doesn't get the help, it's gonna happen. Like I think he can control it for like a special time, and then the little kid is then gonna grow up and see all these things, and it's gonna be the complete same as Lily, where she
Maybe,
saw.
yeah, maybe once the child is born, Lily will like realize that she doesn't want to put that child through like what she went through, and then maybe that's where, you know, the relationship will reach a breaking point. But I just hope for her sake it's sooner rather than later, but I don't know.
I think she'll get out.
Do you guys think that the sister is going to believe Lily,
No.
or is she going to think that her brother could never do that?
I think she's gonna protect her brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's
Because like she
been,
obviously knows
telling
about him.
him. Yeah. And she would like tell her about the childhood trauma.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't really ask Lily like, oh, what truly happened. I feel like, I mean, I'm not in that situation, but I feel like if I was, I might say like, what really happened, you know, like what's going on. But I feel like she's in a state of cognitive dissonance where she doesn't want to recognize what might be or what is truly happening, because it might wreck like the little bubble that she has of her perfect life with, you know, all the money and the nice apartment and, you know, doctor brother, especially because she also went through the trauma when Ryle kills the brother. Maybe she like mentally or physically cannot open up like that can of worms again, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That she'll just ignore it and be like, no, I'm not gonna deal with it. I don't know. I feel
Like
like
he's working on it, he's managing it.
yeah, I can see her doing that, but no, she's probably gonna side with the brother. I want to believe that she's a feminist and be like, oh, yeah, I'll believe you and I'll support you, and I'm not gonna like, just because he's my brother, I'm gonna go with him. But I think that might be the thing.
When shit hits the fan, freak
And
out
she-
and just be like, you go with what you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And she's-
she's known her brother her entire life.
Yeah.
She's older, right?
Yeah.
She's the older sibling. Sometimes older siblings take on the role of protectors, especially like in a family where there's been a lot of trauma. So maybe that's why another reason that she's not gonna like out her brother or do anything against him.
Because then again, she can easily blame the incident that happened with her other brother. Because, oh,
Mhm.
he's traumatized. He's going through a lot.
Oh,
I feel like that's gonna be hard for Lily to give up, like
yeah.
that relationship with Alyssa and the new baby, and
I think it's going to affect the business too because Alyssa's involved in the business. And that's why I was thinking like maybe Rhea will sneak in and do something like erase everything or spend all the money. You know, I don't know if she has her stuff password protected, but once people like get to that point and they want to start like seeking revenge, I feel like, you know, it could get pretty nasty and everything she has is tied up. And Alyssa knows the details of the business, you know, it wouldn't take that much to do something to ruin it, you know. I don't know.
Hence the broken flower on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
because didn't he already knock over Flowers once? So I'm like, is that from that time or is there another one? Because wasn't it their second fight? The Flowers
Oh, he
got
threw
knocked
something,
over?
right? And then he walked out.
But I don't think it was Lily's. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember when he gave her flowers. But I don't. Was it after a fight? I feel like he hasn't after a fight.
Was it page
I think it
247?
was earlier.
Yeah.
This was just like during one of the fights. I think he threw the flowers
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
something.
Page 247, when they were talking about moving to the Mayo Clinic or not, it says the fight continued to escalate. Both of us were getting angrier. At one point, he knocked a vase full of flowers off the table and onto the floor.
Mm.
And then that's when he actually did make a good choice and he walked away for a few hours. He left and then he came back.
And see, that was, even though it still seems a bit toxic, the fact that they talked about it and they're like, okay, I'm not myself when that happens. I need to walk away. And then he did it. I was like, okay, there's improvement and he's working on it and maybe it could work. But he went psycho on the next one with the journal, with the like he himself wasn't being honest. So
Mm-hmm. And then
And the
right
fact that she's like being knocked out, it's not even that he's just like, I mean, it would not be okay anyway, but the fact that she's literally losing consciousness, like he could be doing brain damage to her. Like, what is,
yeah.
that's just so messed up.
and he's a doctor himself, so he knows what he's doing, which makes it even more trippy.
He knows how far to go. I know.
That's what I was saying. He knows, like, maybe he knows, like, exactly where to hit, how to hit, and then patch her up so it looks like an accident because, you know, that's his skill set. I don't know. And then right after he knocks over the flowers, the next day is when they get the apartment too. So I think he's overcompensating there as well as trying to, like, be in control of where they live.
Manipulative.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how he is at work, like what his coworkers think about him. Like, do they think he's nice? Do they think he's narcissistic or too cocky?
Does he end up with that list in the end? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think he's kind of has his own thing going.
Mm.
But I definitely think he's going to stay there as like a friend, as like a support for her while she's like leaving her marriage. And
Mm-hmm. I hope it's either with Atlas or by herself, like you said, Judith.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think
like
that-
it'll leave
go
the
ahead,
door open. Like maybe they'll leave the door open, like for their
Mm.
potential rekindling, but they won't like get back
Get to it.
in the
Yeah,
book.
I can see that.
get to it.
Is there a
I
second?
think with like how much they've built up like the heart tattoo and that like she literally just starts like crying when she finds out that he's with someone, I think that they will be together in the end, but I wonder if there's going to be like a significant time jump.
Mm.
And
Maybe.
why is it telling me I'm about to raise my hand? I didn't do that. Okay.
Watching me.
Anyway, yeah, it was telling me that. I would like that more if there was like a little bit of a time jump, and like maybe like she kind of did some therapy, talked to her mom, like worked through some stuff, and he was there to support her, and then they got together. But I feel like it's a kind of a romance book, and I wonder if they're just gonna get together because
Yeah.
they're like meant to be, you know.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be mad at that, but also like she needs a lot of help work,
Yeah.
you know.
A gap would be good because it'd be like a stark opposite to how, you know, she proceeded with things with Ryle. Because I think like everyone needs that time to regroup, and if you need to go to therapy, and then take time between relationships to kind of like work through like what do you truly want, what is your life going to look like, and all those things. Because I was shocked how her and Ryle talked. Like, I don't know, how long could the flight be from Boston to Vegas? Like 3 hours, 4 hours, and oh, that's enough time to like talk about everything in our life. And yes, no, yes, this, no, that. You know, I was like, I need to have so much control that I was like, yeah, I could never do that.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say something about. Oh, I think if they do the whole like being them together right away, I'm like it just, and I know that it's my whole brain is just going like, because I'm like if they are together, then Ryle's gonna be like, oh, you know, everything you did was, you know, it was correct, and all his assumptions and all that. And I'm like, and I'm not gonna say that she has to wait for Ryle's like sanity or for, you know, just to make everything okay. Because I think she said on here too that the relationship is between her and the person, and everyone else can like ignore it, like it's not their, none of their business. So I'm like, I don't want her to be with him right away, just because I think it's too soon. And I agree with Karina, you need your time to regroup and be like, wait, what happened?
Heal.
But I think the book will do it. It's a
Right.
romance and they're gonna do it. I'm not gonna like it, but I'm like, okay, fine.
And then, do you think, there are two questions for you all. Like, I found it very interesting that later on we find out that Lily memorized the phone number, which I think was a very smart move on her part. So it means like deep down inside, she knows that something's going to go wrong with Ryle. You know, she doesn't trust him fully anymore since that first instance. And then second, if she does end up with Atlas, I just wonder like what the stepdad like child dynamics would be like, or if Ryle would have custody of his child like on weekends or every other week, something like that. Because then they would have to keep interacting, and I feel like that could be toxic as well. Or maybe like, you know, happy ending, like everyone goes to therapy and everything's good, but I find that doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. It's not gonna happen.
I don't. There's not enough
Still have
therapy
a
to fix him.
question. Yeah. Like, do you think she'll for sure keep this baby?
That
I feel like she will.
Julie,
Mm.
that exact same like thought as Karina was going through this, I was like, well, what if she decides not to keep it? But I think she loves Ryle too much to get rid of the baby. I don't know.
What if she gets beaten and loses it that way though too? That could be another possibility. Tragic,
That could also happen.
because then like what, like not that I feel sympathy for Ryle, but I wonder what that would do to him mentally. Like what if he like doesn't know and Lily doesn't tell him right away because she wants to like protect herself, or she just doesn't want him to know, and then something goes down and then like, oh, I miscarried, you know, and then she'd be like, you know, oh, the child is, you know, not alive anymore. I don't know. I feel like that would be like another level of angst, more than this book already has, which is a lot.
I feel like that would be the perfect ending for me to be like, that's it, Ryle, you fucked up. There's no way, like, he messed up.
Would it take that to convince Lily to leave him though? Like, you know, that's kind of like where is she at?
I feel that's what it would be.
Leave, you know, is it?
Like maybe she's thinking about it right now. She's like, yes, I love him, but I feel like if that happened, if another fight happened and she miscarries, doesn't tell him until after, and she's like, I was actually pregnant. Look what you did. This is it. I'm done.
Right.
It ends with us. Y ahí se van.
Yeah, because I was thinking based on what we were saying about the sister Alyssa, like what if the child is born and, you know, the other baby is about the same age? Like what if she puts pressure on Lily to stay? Like, oh, look, they're going to be cousins. They could be best friends. We'll all raise them together. Like it won't be that bad, you know? I hopefully it doesn't go there, but that's just another thing I foresee based on her response and lack of like truly caring, I think, for Lily. I think she likes the idea of Lily in the flower shop, but with what I've been seeing And I mean, there's not that much evidence for this, but I just feel like she cares more about the idea and maintaining her perfect, happy life or whatever, rather than what they're actually going through.
I don't know. Do any of you know if Lily went to court and said the father of the child abused me, and I don't want the child to see the father? Is that something that happens, and
Yes.
could that happen in the book, like
You
where
can fight for custody that way. Yeah.
You have to get a
Mhm.
restraining order. She'd have to do like a police statement saying everything that's happened, but she would have to have that evidence in order for the judge to be more convinced that the child should not see Ryle at all, and he could still have custody rights.
I think the thing that would not work was that the fact that she never called to get a statement when those things happen. I think
and
that
they
would be,
specifically referenced that, right? Like they
Yeah.
said that, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where it wouldn't work out. Like that'd be a great option she could do, but it would have to be in the future fight or event, which sucks to say. Like, ugh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because like the only
but-
witness is Atlas, and I don't know.
Mhm.
That's like one witness versus.
Well,
I
at least she
feel-
went to the ER, but
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like,
but she didn't do
but
the
she
test,
didn't-
right?
yeah,
She didn't do that
she
test.
didn't do the rape.
Yeah.
The rape test. But
Mhm.
did he rape her? Or did he not?
She said no, right? Like he didn't.
Yeah. She
I-
said no. But I feel like the way they were describing it, I think,
It's like implied that it happened, though, kind of. Like we don't know if it did or didn't. That's kind of how I see it. But I think based on the lack of police evidence, it would be really hard for her to make that case in court, especially because Ryle is affluent and he's probably like well respected in his field. It'd be harder for a judge to get convinced to side against him, just because I feel like sometimes there is a history of like, not believing women when they go through these things. And he might even be able to say like, oh, well, I'm more wealthy, I can provide a better life for this child, or it could go the other way that he takes a child away, but I feel like it's very rare for children to be removed from the mothers.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't want to like ruin his reputation, so
Mm-hmm.
she might just like settle things quietly.
And they would also call character witnesses too in court if that were to happen, I think. So they'd probably call like Lily's mom, the sister, the brother-in-law, and depending on like what they say, that's what also helped the judge decide or not.
And Ryle probably has a lot more people in his, like, I don't know, his colleagues and like,
Mhm.
his parents, and I don't know, like maybe Lily's mom would be too afraid to say anything because of her own history, and she would be like, no, like, I don't know, maybe she'd be in denial, or like really the only person she really has in her corner at this point is Atlas, who like knows everything. That's one person who like, I don't know,
Yeah.
isn't even like in her life that much. So maybe he's not credible. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And they are married too legally now, so I feel like that just adds another legal like hurdle in the case of a separation. And then what else was I gonna say? Just because they got married so quickly, I feel like then people would want to know like, oh, why so quickly? Like, oh, where they might turn it against her, sadly, and be like, oh, well, were you interested because he's wealthy? He's going to be successful. Like, oh, you used to live here, now you live here. Look at that. I'm just being negative, Nancy, but that's two ways I see it going, because she did not get photographic evidence. She didn't do the rape kit, and I feel really sad because people shouldn't have to prove this happened to them, but that's what I've seen happen at least.
Yeah.
I just really wonder if that's going to happen, given the kind of breadcrumbs that we've gotten where she didn't report it, and the whole thing where the mom didn't want to report it, and like I just wonder if it's and because she's so worried about her child going through that again, I really wonder if that might come up in some way.
I wonder if it does go to court, because there's not that much book left. I did just think that what if they bring up like how he killed his brother as a child? Maybe, they could like insinuate that he has like some mental issues or anger issues. Maybe we didn't hear the whole truth of what happened with the older brother, because again, like either sibling rivalry or siblings protecting each other. We don't know. I feel like there's something still within that group of 3 siblings that we don't know. But yeah, I don't know if it will go into a court battle though, just because there's not that much book left. But it's interesting to think
Very
about.
small. That's why I'm like, are they just gonna like leave us hanging with nothing.
I feel they might. That's kind of what they did with Verity a little bit. Where like, did
You're
was
right.
this real? Was it not real? It could happen again. We might not know who she ends up with in the end. I don't know if I can deal with that, but
She's just gonna go like in that one paragraph with like Verity where it was like, oh, I'm pregnant, I have the kid, and you know, it's just like
she just decides to go with it, right? Yeah, it could
Yeah.
be something similar here. We have to prepare ourselves mentally for this now.
Yeah.
I hope not, because it really seems like this book is like trying to hit on a lot of like
A better narrative.
themes, and
Mhm.
I hope that it provides like a satisfying ending, because so far, like, I think it's doing a really good job with all of the different elements that are in the story, and I hope it keeps going well. Like, I hope that the author brings it all together in the end in a satisfying way.
I do enjoy this book because I feel like it touches on so many themes, like
Mhm.
spousal abuse, marriage, relationships, intergenerational trauma and abuse, gender stereotypes, and then expectations of, like, I guess, gender roles too, and like how someone could, you know, bring them, like Atlas, how he, you know, was homeless and he went to the military and he was able to like become a self-made person.
Yeah.
And then I did want to mention a slight difference with Ryle and Atlas, just in terms of the time that they have, because I feel like it's interesting that like Ryle has the fancy like loft-like apartment that's very modern, but then when it talks about Atlas's house, it's like an actual house and it has like nice colors on it and the hardwood floors. I just imagine a lot of warmth when I think of hardwood floors, even though the other apartment has them too. So it just made me think like, oh, maybe Ryle's like a more home-like person, like he'll be a better partner or something. I don't know.
More caring and not so cold and just for looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I still really like this book, and I'm still gonna stick with my 5.
Like it.
But I decided.
I didn't know you decided already.
What?
I
don't
didn't know you had decided your
Maybe.
rating already.
Maybe this tiny bit will change my mind, but honestly, I've enjoyed it the whole way through.
I also have.
I'm not upset. I'm not mad, kind of confused about what the author's doing with me. Nah, I like it.
I think I so far like it even more than, like, I did like Verity, but I think this book is really strong so far.
Yeah.
Like, I
Me
like
too.
it more.
I feel the same, because
Yeah.
Verity I was expecting a little bit more, and it did go crazy, but there was moments where I was like, yeah, I'll keep reading, but this was different. Like, in one day I was like, let's go, and I wanted to keep going. Verity, sometimes there was days where I was like, I mean, yeah, I can keep going, but I can wait. And
I think this one's more entertaining too, because she, the main character, is like going in and out of different places and talking with more people, you know, like there's more characters, whereas in Verity she was kind of like stuck in the house with Jeremy and the kid. There wasn't a lot of other characters, and here she's like in the flower shop, her house, you know, the other apartment, the sister's apartment, and she's talking to like her roommate, Atlas, the sister, her mom. Like, there's a lot more dialogue, so you get to see how the different characters interact. I think it makes it a little more interesting.
And she's a lot more likable. Not like you need to have a likable protagonist, but the protagonist of Verity, I was like, come on, girl. What's your problem?
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess that was the point, though, like with that particular novel, like it was all, you know, it served a purpose, but sometimes I was like really annoyed with the main character of Verity.
Oh man, that girl was insane. Well, we have the end to go in 1 week.
Are we pitching books today or till the next time? I forgot.
Oh, you're right. I was so excited.
We could've
Wow.
done this
And I've been
time.
stuck in my room. I could have thought about this. Damn.
You could have had your pick ready.
Oh my goodness. Ooh. Well, unless you guys want to pitch a book. No, but it's the
You
holidays.
could just do it on email.
Yeah.
We could do just a form if you like.
Yeah. If you want to send your books, if you have a book, send it. And then, like I said, I'm stuck in my room, so I can do it like right now. I can't do much, so yeah. If you want to send your book to the DM, and then we'll create the form and we can do it by, see, I want to do it on Christmas. Are you guys okay with that? Just looking at it, taking a little like quick 1 minute survey. Yeah. If you guys don't mind, we can do that by Saturday, by Friday.
Just all go, what's that one little TikTok that goes? I don't know
When
how it
should
goes,
we
but it's like you
submit
just
this?
turn and you see everybody going.
What was that? Who was
So-
saying?
Submit tonight and then
That's what
vote
I was
by
thinking.
Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Submit tonight, and then you can vote by Saturday while you're waiting to open gifts, or while you're waiting for breakfast, or while you're waiting for dinner.
Opening
Just
for
like at the
months.
moment you have, you're like, while you're waiting for your partner to get ready, you're like, hello, time to vote.
Boys take longer to get ready than girls, I'll tell you that.
Karina.
Sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm trying to leave for work in the morning when Luis decides to jump into the shower. Like, bruh, we're supposed to leave in 10 minutes.
I know.
Oh,
So
sir.
Rico sometimes like, okay, I'm ready, and he's like, oh, gotta brush my teeth and put on my shoes, and I'm
It's
And then
just
we
not
just
the
sit
best
there
time
walking
management,
around,
really.
like, well, what to do?
Yeah.
also we have to sing for Crystal's birthday.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah!
Una, dos, tres. Happy
Happy
birthday to you. Happy birthday
Birthday
to
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Crystal.
Crystal.
Why are we so off?
Happy birthday to you. Is my internet slow?
No, you
We were all over the place.
So out of sync.
I know, that's why I'm like, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? I can't tell. Right.
Everyone was going a bunch of different versions of slow.
Just waiting for
Thank you,
each
guys.
other.
Thank you.
Enjoy your birthday. And Merry Christmas
Wait.
to everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. Wait, did I miss why Darlene's not here?
Oh, she didn't finish the book. Can you believe that? I don't know how, but she didn't. She hasn't finished. And Katie just said she wouldn't be able to make it. She didn't tell me why. Which
It's Wednesday.
is okay.
I almost didn't make it. I forgot, to be honest.
I
Being up-
finished the book like a really long time ago because I read it like right after the last meeting, and then
Yeah.
I've just been waiting.
Oh no, the suspense.
You're like, oh, is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh.
I read today, but I'm on break, so I almost forgot because my days are now getting mixed up in each other. So I thought it was Tuesday. And I was like, read today, book club tomorrow. Then I somewhere saw it was Wednesday. I was like, oh yes, I need to read right now. Also, Rico got a library card from the Morgan Hill Library, and I got my first book through his card, and I'm excited. I'm gonna read it too.
Nice.
Right.
Is he joining us for the next one?
I'll ask him, but I'm not sure. He's been working a lot of
Is he?
overtime, I think. But
Okay.
I will tell him. He was reading the other one. I think like he just got
Oh, that's a big one.
Ooh.
their possessions. This
Yeah,
one.
that was not a good
another
one for him.
It's the last one. Yeah.
Yeah. This one's about a hitman who kills bad people. So I'm really curious to see like how this vibe's gonna go compared to the other books we've read. So and it's I almost bought it the other day, but then now at the library feels better. So I'm excited.
Nice. Okay, well,
Yay!
Merry Christmas.
It's
to
funny,
you.
my work friends, they hate the paperbacks, except one.
What?
So if I'm like, oh, do you guys want to read this book? I have the paperback. And they're like, no, we'll just
I
get
like
audio
both.
book.
They're like hardcover. Oh my goodness.
No, they just like the audio books.
Oh,
They're like,
Oh, I thought you meant like
They're like,
compared to
we-
the hardback.
oh
they
no,
just
they just
love
like
the,
refuse to
like-
read a book.
oh, I see, I see. Oh, damn. Well, I don't like audiobooks. I'd rather have the physical book, but I'm also having trouble reading on my physical books, so maybe I should do audiobooks. I don't know.
Audiobooks is like 80% is a hit, like a miss with whoever's reading it.
Mm.
It has a bigger
Yeah.
ring.
Why is that? It's so weird.